himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Nuhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back for what has been an absolute epic season. But now this is the final round, the final round 5, live from Spa Francorchamps. I'm James Parfitt. We've got no Scotty Rankin this evening. He is a little bit crook at the moment, but we are joined by Pete Baxter in the booth with us. Pete, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
I'm wonderful, actually. And JP, I've got to say, your reputation as the overexcited Scotsman or Englishman in the Premier Endurance League. I'm excited to be. I know that can be terror for everybody that's not associated with the UK. That can be terror to call him a Scotsman or an Englishman.
It can.
But I'm excited to be here with you because obviously Scotty's not feeling well. He's a bit under the weather. There's a bit of a virus going around parts of Australia at the moment, and it's knocked the poor boy around. That's the superstar Rankin that does some of the most exceptional commentary that we do. And here is Pete Baxter, one of the worst GT4 drivers in Premier Endurance League, currently sitting P29th in the championship. I thought I'd come and sit in the booth with you and cover for Scotty. I don't know that I can cover for him. You might have to do the excitement stuff. I'll try and come up with some analytics, work out what's going on. But I will warn everybody, I was given the request to come and join you halfway into a drinking session this evening, so it could be a little bit of fun.
Right. Well, guys, that's something to look out for as well as we get this up and running. We have just come to the end of qualifying. We will be going into a 5-minute warm-up, and then we will show you the results of quali. Interesting situation in the standings at this moment in time. Dan Magri is out in front on 1,080 points, but Owen Coleman in second on 1,035. Then you've got Adam Jepson on 975 with Andrew Dutchy there in fourth place. They're really the main people who could actually do something in the championship here this evening, so it's going to be an interesting one, so stay tuned for that one. I'm not going to declare that I will try and do maths in the process because, let's face it, I've got to commentate and do maths, and that's never going to work. So we will find out and see when the point scores have been released officially, because obviously unofficially, we can only give you what we can. Pete, that's the thing with the championships, Pete. It's going to be very close between them top four. We'll have to see how it all turns out.
And if you look at the maths of the championship, technically anybody down to P7, which includes Ryan Cambrell at 748 points, can win this championship tonight. But it requires everybody else to have a really bad race. Dan Magri, Owen Coleman and Adam Jepson are obviously in the back seat because they're up there. And if they start well, and if you look at where they are in practice, Coleman, Magri have both had really good practice time. Jepson's down in P4 in practice time. Have had really good sessions to start with. But if there's a shocker, if they have a coming together, let's talk about the what ifs. Then my fave, Mr. Fozzie, Mark Foster in the Lime Milkshake Machine GT4, he could even jump up there onto the podium, or even at worst come up and take the championship. At the surprise of everybody. Will it happen? Well, I think it's unlikely, but it still a can do. And then let's not underestimate the likes of, the master Ricky Provenzali, the dude who runs the league. We're trying to push him, you and I and the rest of the broadcasters saying, come on, Ricky, stop this rear grid stuff. You get in there and race properly, because these guys want to race and they want people to race with, and you're someone they can do it. I don't think Ricky's number one here, and he'll certainly have a race. But what he'll do is he'll challenge everybody else and take some points off others. So there's some things to look at tonight. And that's what I'm most excited about. I think Magri, Coleman and Jepson might have a really clear run at the podium for the championship. But, if something really goes wrong with only 16 drivers in, it can go wrong in a heartbeat. But they've got their work cut out for them, and they can sort of fight back and get some points.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see where Ricky would have been if he'd been at the front for most of it. As you say, he does have this thing about rear gridding, you know what I mean? And I think if he'd started at the front, or if he qualified more throughout the season, it does make you wonder where he would have been. Would he have been further up than where he's sitting at the moment in that 9th place, though, Pete? That's the question. Or are we seeing Ricky where he should be?
No, I'm going to put it to you that when Ricky and Jimmy brought to us Premier Endurance League, the whole concept of Sunday night endurance GT3, GT4 racing, their concern was we want to limit it to 2,500, 3,500 now for elite I rating, so we don't get the exceptional, the aliens racing. But they want to make sure, and Ricky's got a pretty good I rating behind him. And he's pretty quick. But So in his context is, I'm going to start from rear grid, and I'm just going to make sure that the guys we got in this series are decent racers, not over the top aliens. But I think what we've found now is we've found that the top 5 to maybe 10 in the GT3 and GT4 series, look, they're good racers. And in fact, are they the best? Probably not. There are super iRacers out there that are aliens, but we've found great racers. And I think, and I've thought for most of this season that if Ricky actually qualified where he would normally qualify, he'd be in for a race himself. And that would also put the pressure on everybody else. And I think that's good for league, because one of the things that Ricky and Jimmy do really well in this league is, whilst they can race and get involved, is that they leave the decisions of the outcomes of the races to others. It's purely independent. I know that because I've been on the back of some of the race control reviews, and they've got no influence on the outcome. They just manage the league, and that's exceptional. And because I've seen that really sort of step back from both Ricky and Jimmy, I think they've got to get into it and just get involved in league. I mean, they put so much effort into bringing us all together and putting it all on and bringing the sponsors in, Gaming Gear Rec and Sudspeed, and bringing it all on, that they have an absolute right to enjoy it and race it, and let us commentate it, and let us, those of us that are in the race control environment, let us do the rules for them. Because I can tell you, they let us do that and let us do it quite independently, and they live with it. And I've whacked a few penalties on not Ricky but Jimmy Middleton through this season in GT3 or GT4, and he's just copped it sweet. He goes, Pete, I just want to understand why it is, and that's why I think these two should, bringing the series to us, should be really involved in the series. But I think we're going to focus on this GT4 race. There is a championship at stake. We've got the 3 dudes up the front. We've got probably 4 randoms that could take it out, and we'll see where we go.
Jimmy is on your screen flashing there as well. He does know he's on camera. I was seeing what little memo he had on the back of his car this time out, and there's nothing other than play sticker here. So if you do want to sponsor Jimmy Middleton's car, there's a nice little rear bit of bumper there that you can place one on as well. He has been in YouTube chat. Look out for the Wild Dutch in the comments tonight, boys. Revolution E-Racing, typical Adam Burhop with the cameo appearance, and gives the front runners something to think about. So Adam Burhop is here as well, or Adam Buddy Burhop for some reason, is there in the BMW on the track at the moment. Spa itself, we generally know Pete as the pinnacle of motorsport circuit. He's got a little bit of everything. He's got that fast Kemmel straight where pretty much I'm expecting some of the overtakes to take place to this evening, but it's got some tricky parts to it as well. The likes of coming through Bruxelles, down into No Name, through Pouhon. There's a lot involved with this circuit. How's it going to be out there in a GT4? You're a GT4 driver.
Mate, the best thing for Spa, or the hardest thing for Spa in every race, for me, is Eau Rouge lap 1. You get through Eau Rouge lap 1, you're on for a race. If you don't, Eau Rouge lap 1 is the most likely position for a crash at the top of Eau Rouge. Is people just go a little bit hard with cold tyres, and that will ruin your night. If you just got to get through that Eau Rouge lap 1 and then settle in, and then your speed and your sensation will take over. There's plenty of overtaking spots. There's lots of wide open, and it's a long race tonight with a couple of pit stops. This is not the race where you win on lap 1. Over to you, mate, for the grid.
Yeah, well, it is the grid for this race now. Owen Coleman is on pole. Dan Magri in second. Adam Burhop has jumped up. He is there in third. Then we've got Ben Jeffrey and Adam Jepson. Rain Campbell in sixth. Then we've got Ricky Provenzali in seventh. Martin Hallinan in eighth. Jacob Hughes in ninth. Mark Foster in 10th. Jimmy Middleton 11th. And then Sam Chapman down in 12th. Rob Edwards in 13th. Stephen Mellis in 14th. Trent Naylor in 15th. Then Leif McClimate down in 16th. And then you've got race control, Scotty Barton, and obviously our very own Pete in there. Give us 2 seconds, guys. I just need to change something at the moment. Having slight little issues with something, and then I will be right back for the start of the race. Why they're cruising around the last part of the circuit. Okay, there we go. After a little bit of a technical change, we have come back here, guys, as well. You can see they're out on the last part of the circuit coming through on Blanchimont, and we will be getting this off and running and underway now as well. Pete, give us a quick rundown. Who's going to win?
No, I just want to make sure your technical change wasn't shutting me out of your microphone or your headset, so you couldn't hear me. Who's going to win? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to put it on Coleman or Burholt for a surprise.
Okay, well, here we go then. The hour-long race will be up and running very, very shortly. Volvo Rallycross, go Mellis. Let's go Trent Naylor for the Revolution E-Racing. So we're going to find out very, very shortly. We've got Leif McClimate, looks like he's into the pits already, but it is Owen Coleman, Dan Magri, Adam Burhop and Ben Jeffrey. The lights will be coming on. Then we will be getting this off and running and underway very, very shortly. We are already off and running here as well. Looks like Owen Coleman's taking a whole shot. Magri goes on the big old defence from poor old Adam Burhop there. Round the source they go on the run, start going down into that long run down through El Rouge and Radion. Side by side with Provençali further back there as well. He's alongside Rain Campbell, but it's Owen Coleman's going to lead us the first time up through El Rouge and Radion. Magri's got Burhop right behind him. Jepson's trying to keep in there as well. Then we've got Jepson, and then there's Jeffrey, Provençali, Hughes and Campbell all tucked in behind as they're going side by side further back. At the moment, everybody seems to have got away quite cleanly here, Pete, as well, but Owen Coleman taking a whole shot, leading down for the first time into Lacoon.
No, really, really interesting. The whole field got through Eau Rouge, which was a danger point for lap one in most of these races at Spa, and in fact any race at Spa. But what I noticed was I think Coleman, he took that opportunity between pace car off and green flag going, and that leader's opportunity to go when you can, not on the green flag. And that was, I think he got a little bit of jump off Burhop, and then Magri slotted in, and then we're away. So we've really put it into a race, and I think the top three in the championship are racing for the top three in this race. Can anybody else pull out a surprise packet? Well, who knows? It's 16 car field, 1 hour race. It could be a fairly just well spread out race. Spa is quite a long circuit. It's the kind of thing where the field might spread out, but to be honest, we can't sort of pick the championship. Just if the top three in the championship are not 1, 2, 3, then we're going to have to do quick maths to work out what's going on for the viewers.
Well, I'm going to leave that one to you, Pete, because me and doing maths is not a good idea while I'm trying to commentate at the same time here. I can tell you that much. I'll try and scribble it down on a little bit of a piece of paper, but it generally ends up going a little bit wrong. But it is Coleman down through Blanchimont we go. We've got Magri tucked in behind our Burhop as well. Jepson's only 6 tenths. Jeffrey's only 6 tenths there behind him. Once more, it's all very close. Round the left-hander, we're coming into the bus stop now. On board with Burhop. He's going to try to take Magri around the outside. Is he going to be able to get it done as they're coming into the bus stop now? Burhop's on the outside. He's got Magri pinned against the outside there as well. Burhop does make it through. Burhop takes second place. Now he's going to get set after Owen Coleman. Is Magri going to come back on him on that run down that start finish line into the source here? Burhop's on your left hand side in the BMW. Magri's in the right in the Mercedes. He's been done and dusted there. Ricky Provençali holds on from Jacob Hughes behind in that Merc as well. Great move from Adam Burhop there, Pete. Job done, moved himself up into second.
2 things that call out to me there. Adam Burhop, wonderful move, but also Dan Magri's exceptional defence and ability. He's raced Adam Burhop and he's allowed him to come through, but he's allowed him to come through fairly. And that, ladies and gents, is one of the most exceptional things on racing, except a one-loss position. Because if you race really closely and Burhop contacts you on your spin, you end up 20 seconds down and lose, in this case, 15 other positions. That's not good. So Burhop's just dropped 1 position, or Burhop's gained.
Yeah, he's just got past Coleman.
Burhop's just got through Coleman.
Yeah.
He is flying. Look at that. Dan Magri's leading through. I didn't really see how he got the run on there on Owen Coleman, but Adam Burhop in the lead. Now that is going to wind up the championship, because I tell you what, the difference between first and second, so Dan Magri in 1080 and Owen Coleman 1035, if they come second and first in opposite, does not change the championship position. But you throw in Adam Burhop, and that's a level of math I haven't done yet, mate. I'm going to have to do that through the championship. while you spruik on, and I get some mass in behind the scene.
Yeah, you see that was a replay of Burhop getting past Coleman. That was a run down the Kemmel straight into Lacombe there. So great job from him. Sam Chapman is tucked in behind Martin Hallinan. We got Jimmy Middleton behind that. Fozzie behind that. He's got Mellis. He's chasing him down. Mellis in that Porsche as well. Known as Stefan from another series. Currently leading the AM Championship in that series. So it'd be great for Stefan Mellis to see how he gets on here. But can Owen Coleman now get on to the back of Burhop, or can he hold Magri up? Can Jacob Hughes make this move past Provençali, the Merc and the BMW? Under the DHL bridge we go. The left-hander now coming down into the bus stop. It is Hughes. Is he going to be able to attack Magri going into there now? He's got the run. He's looking around the outside line. Provençali just covers him off a little bit. Places that car in the middle of the circuit there, Pete. Very hard for anybody to get past when you whack a car in the middle of the circuit like Provençali just did.
Well, you do, but if you're the car attacking and you see him in the middle of the circuit, you've got to think immediately, okay, this has got to be an under and over. So you've got to get right on the outside and you've got to make a really good exit, because essentially you don't just attack and dive.
Oh, he's just done them underneath.
Like he did. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't do that. You've got to set that up. You've got to set that up with a good run out of the previous corner. But I didn't see that happen. And then he's done a dive and made it happen. That is just awesome from Hughesy. And to get one up on Ricky Provençali, who, racer of all races in this series, that is awesome. Well done, Owen Hughes.
Yeah, absolutely. Coleman now has got Magri behind, chasing down on Burhop there. So great job from these 1, 2, 3. Great move from Hughes on Provençali going into La Source. Then Rain Campbell's in there. Martin Hallinan. We got Foz and Jimmy Middleton. They're just swapped places. Jimmy has just done Mark Foster going down the Kemmel and into Lacombe. So a great move from him. He's now got Stefan Mellis tucked in right behind him. But this gap from Owen Coleman is opening up to Adam Jepson. It's 1.6 seconds. Where did Daniel Magri go? Well, how did Dan Magri end up all the way down here? Well, we're going to have a look at what has just happened to Dan Magri, because he's just gone all the way down the order. It looks like he got a slowdown coming through Lacombe there, Pete, and has dropped himself all the way down into 10th place.
Wow, that's a massive impact for a small slowdown, but, that's bigger than a slowdown.
It's got to be, isn't it? Where did that even start? Because he looked like he was, well, what did he...
If you're going to Eau Rouge slow down, you can play up the right? And the best way to take a slowdown is in the braking zone, but maybe Dan didn't take it in the braking zone at the end of Kemmel Straight. He's probably carried it through the next set of corners. I don't know. I'd like to see whether Dan took Eau Rouge a little bit much of a shortcut. I think that would tell us more than anything. And and so he's put himself in position. Well, take the positions or take the black flag. Which one do you do? 4 positions, 5 positions, or a black flag. It's 4 positions, but geez, that's a big penalty. And I'll tell you what, that opens up the championship for Owen Coleman, because now the points difference is way more than it was if they just swap positions at 1-2. Now we're talking about championships change just for something as simple as a little bit of a shortcut at Eau Rouge. But it's so easy to do in any car at Spa that who knows. Coleman's got to be pretty sharp to make sure he doesn't get the same thing as every other driver in this series tonight. Make sure they don't get the same championship, because if that happens in the next few races, Adam Coleman's going to slip back just as quick, and that just puts the championship up, into basically a coin toss. How good is this racing, mate, from GT4? It's good on them.
Yeah, they're really going for it. Burhop, Coleman, and Provençali, Hughes, and then Campbell, Hallinan, and Chapman. And then Dan Magri's now down in 10th. He's got to make his way forward. Stefan Mellis was looking at Jimmy Middleton there as well. He's past Foz, did Mellis. He was looking at Jimmy to try and make that move down the Kemmel. Didn't quite get it done this time around, did Stefan. But he's looking feisty in that Porsche. You can see the Mercedes, a bright yellow Mercedes. We can't really miss it out on that racetrack is doing an absolute stellar job putting Jimmy under pressure. Can Jimmy hold on, or will he crack like a walnut? That's going to be the question we're going to have to find out as this race goes on. Just cleared the first 9 minutes. Give you a quick rundown at the moment. Adam Burhop out in front, started in third, jumped 1 and 2 of Owen Coleman and Magri's now all the way down into 10th due to a slowdown coming through El Rouge and Radion. So unfortunately for Dan Magri, he did cop a little bit of a slowdown on that one, and that has dropped him back. We've got Jacob Hughes, he's jumped a Ricky Provenzali's got Campbell behind him here. Then we've got Martin Hallinan with Sam Chapman, and of course the recovery Dan Magri. Going into the first, it seems like we've been at this all for, oh no, Sam Chapman.
Who's that? Sam Chapman.
Yeah, doing pirouettes, unfortunately. I do wonder if there was contact from behind. We'll have a look and see if there was a little bit of a nudge, or did Chapman just lose it all on his own? He lost it all on his own on that dirty part of the circuit, and some nice little pirouettes from Sam Chapman that kept him going in the right way though, Pete, but he was unfortunately facing the wrong way at one point.
Little bit of dirty circuit, little bit of early throttle, and a little bit of I just want to hang in there, and it's just called Sam Chapman out. And Sam Chapman was P5. He was one of those absolute randoms that, if something happened to the top three, like what's happened to Dan Magri, Sam Chapman's in a shot for get on the podium for the championship. So yeah, that's really sad for Sam. But look, he'll get in there and he'll fight on. He's back at 2 seconds down there in P15. Probably last on the race at the moment, but. Let's get in there and get through the end of it. Sam, keep on fighting.
Yeah, Sam Chapman there is going to start coming back through. He's in 15th place. He's got to be making his way through. Of course, on this 49 minutes race, they do have pit stops to make, so there is opportunities. Martin Hallinan had Magri running side by side. You can see in the Mercedes, Jacob Hughes and Ben Jeffrey. Hughes has just cleared Jeffrey. Foz is just cleared Jimmy Middleton. Middleton there just also lost a place to Trent Naylor. I think as we're talking about slowdowns, I think Jimmy just might have copped one as well, because he's just lost 3 places in one go. So Jimmy Middleton also part of the slowdown crew at El Rouge and Radion. Easily done though, Pete, but it's something that these guys really need to keep avoiding, because they're just going to leak positions in the end of the day if they just keep doing that all over and over and over again.
Look, I know this comment will hurt me in the longer, but Jimmy Middleton, part of the slowdown crew, that's normal, right? That's Jimmy Middleton racing. If you get on with racing, Jimmy Middleton will slow you down, whether it's on race or whether he gets to slow down. But Jimmy will pay me out later for that. Now, look, I've got to say, right now in terms of the championship, though, Owen Coleman's in the box seat, currently sitting on 1,387 points, with Dan Magri 1,325. So there's a 50-point buffer. I'm just going to work out whilst you're covering me. I'm going to work out how far Dan Magri's got to get up the field to get that position back to stay in the lead of the championship, because it might not be P2, but it's got to be about sort of P4, P5, and he's got some work to do. So right now, that little slip up, a small slowdown through Eau Rouge might actually cost Dan Magri the championship, just because the way that style racing is. Last Thursday I was into racing. I saw some people who were racing at Jerez, and it was nothing more than a shortcut on pit entry in Jerez, and it was a 40-second penalty in pit lane. That's how easy people can lose a championship. And we had championship contenders. One of them copped that, and they went from P2 to P4 in the championship just because of a 40-second slowdown. That's how fickle some of this racing can be. That's how tight you've got to be. You might be able to drive a car fast, you might be able to keep it on the track well, but if you don't keep it within the limits and within the track limits and within the slowdowns and all of those things, iRacing will bite you, and it might cost you bigger than just a position of a race.
Yeah, definitely. They've got to be careful. It's the top left part that's causing the problem, guys, all right? If they go over too far to the left-hand side, it will deem that they've cut the circuit, and it will give them a penalty. So that's where we're looking for most. If the penalties are going to happen, they are coming off the top left-hand side of the circuit. Magri, 1 place gained. He's just gone past Martin Hallinan. So Magri's on his way through. We have got pit stops. There is opportunities. He's got loads of time as well. well. 45 minutes. He doesn't want to rush it. As long as he's within a certain time gap of the guys up front, and at the moment it's only 9 seconds between the leader and himself, there is a chance in pit stops. That's all we've got to know. There is a chance in the pit stop cycles there for them to get through. Adam Jepson holding on here. He's got Jacob Hughes closing in behind him there, and Ben Jeffrey behind that. Provençali's in there still in the BMW, and yes, Sean, he is going the right way still currently. I know, I'm aware of that. There was a race where Ricky was completely going the wrong way in the race, so I'm aware of that. Sam Chapman's down here. He's trying to come through. He's got Trent Naylor in the Aston Martin. They're going side by side currently here, and they're on the run down from Poohan into Vanier, the left right. Trent Naylor holding on. Chapman's going to try and sweep round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the exit. Gets the job done to Sam, and that relegates Trent Naylor down into 15th place. But you've got to do what you got to do, and one of the things you've got to do, don't jeopardise your race with 45 minutes to go. Coleman still keeping Burhop honest though. This is the battle up front. They're on their run down through Blanchimont, coming into the bus stop here, Pete. Coleman still within touching distance. They've dropped the likes of Jepson by 5 seconds, but these guys still holding on to these front 2 places with pit stop cycles as well.
All right, now we know some of these drivers listen to this broadcast, and but I don't know which ones do and which ones don't. Now, Owen Coleman is in the box seat, mate. Owen Coleman right now is on 1,387 points, and if Dan Magri comes anything worse than P3, Owen Coleman wins the championship. Dan Magri can get P3, Dan Magri can win that championship back. So if you're out there supporting for Dan, you got to fight for Dan to get back to P3. He has got to get to P3. Big gap opening up between Burhop, Coleman and the rest of the field. And if Magri's got that pace, all he needs to do is get into that gap. He doesn't need to be right up at the back of Owen Coleman. Just got to get into that gap. So there is some things for Dan to fight for. He's got that. He's got about 5 seconds to fight over the next 44 minutes to get there. So 5 seconds over 44 minutes at Spa, which is a place where you can get a whole lot of overtaking opportunities. Whether Coleman gets Burhop or not, I think Dan Magri's still in for a chance. But if Owen Coleman gets Adam Burhop, then that's a whole new set of calculations, and I might have to leave it to you for another 10 minutes to work those ones out, mate.
Well, let's see on that. I'm glad you're working it out rather than me, Pete. I've got to be honest on that one. But these battles from Jepson, we've got Jepson, Hughes, Jeffrey, Provençali and Campbell. Then we've got 2.8 seconds back to Magri. You can see him in the background there. He's dropping off Martin Hallinan. Then we've got Mellis, Foster, who's got Edwards, Middleton and Chapman, all within touching distance. So there's a battle in the front for the 3rd down to 7th, and there's battles developing down from 12th to 14th. So we'll try and keep an eye on both. At the moment, I'm just looking at Chapman. He's looking feisty here currently. I've got to be honest, he is looking a little bit feisty. How's he getting on in conjunction with Provençali on times? Well, at the moment, he's quicker than Provençali's in lap 3, 4 and 5. Provençali's quicker over 2 and 6. So, there's a spinner in front of us. Oh, that's Ben Jeffrey. Unfortunately, Ben Jeffrey's just put the power down too much, coming out Vanier, and then is just gone round on the run down into Blanchimont. So unfortunately for Ben Jeffrey there, he has gone round. That's allowed now Campbell to close right in the Provençali. Provençali lifted to make sure that the Jeffrey was out of the way, coming into the bus stop now. Nothing doing this time around, but unfortunately there, Pete, Ben Jeffrey's put himself in a rather tricky situation.
No, very, very difficult, but that's what happens when it's on the line. You're at the other side. But also, we got Ricky Provençali up there, and some people are now racing him. Ricky is not just working himself through the back of the field and finding that he's somewhere in the top 10. He's now racing the top 10, and that's really good. And that's just cost out Ben Jeffrey. He's just been pushing a little bit too hard. And there we go. Just got a quick good evening from JP and Pete from Jesse McMenamin. Jesse's one of our GT3 racers. Good on you, Jesse. Good to see you out here. I'm glad to see you. I'm trying to get you the numbers here for Dan Magri. If Owen Coleman can grab Adam Burhop, which, as you and I know, JP, Coleman is the master of fuel saving. And we've seen him many, many times sit behind people that are in front of him and save fuel. And what that does is not just allow him to sit there and be comfortable and race comfortably all night, because he's not putting pressure, but he is putting pressure but it allows him to save fuel, and that allows him to save a few seconds in the pit stop fuel strategy time, and he jumps people through the fuel stops, and then he gets out on track and races hard and goes for it. We know that we've seen that from Owen Coleman. It's a bit of an MO for Owen in the way he races, and he's doing that with Adam Berholt right now. He might have just let him through early to save fuel in the long run, because as we know in these GT4s, this is a bit of a fuel save track to get to the end.
Yeah, they're going to have to play it by ear. We're going to have to see how they work out when they're going to start going in. They've got to be looking within the next 10 minutes. Maybe we'll start seeing the cycles come through. It's a very long pit lane as well. It's not a short pit lane. It is a very long one here at Spa. So it's going to be interesting. They've got to make sure they're timing this well. Middleton's on a bit of a defense at the moment. He's got Chapman closing all over the back of him. Through Fanier they go. Now they're going to be coming around the left-hander, Paul Ferrer, and Chapman is putting pressure on Jimmy. Can Jimmy hold on? He's got Foz in front of him. Now it's all about if Chapman's going to get the run down through Blanchimont. It looks like he has. He's going to tuck him right behind that Mercedes under the DHL bridge. We're going to be going shortly round the left-hander. Can Chapman now make this move coming into the bus stop? He's got him in his sights here. Round the left they go. Jimmy's going to hold on. He's going to park his car in the middle. He's going to give Chapman to think about. Chapman jinks to the left, then he jinks to the right. Jimmy's got in hot. He's got in so hot. He's cracked. Oh, Jimmy Middleton, the walnut, has cracked, unfortunately. And that is it. He's put his nuts all over the racetrack, and there we go. He's just lost places to Sam Chapman and Rob Edwards on that one, Pete.
Oh my God, you just called Jimmy Middleton the walnut. I've never heard that before. Where the hell did that come from? This is the funniest thing I've heard in a long time. Jimmy Middleton, the walnut, has just overshot the corner. But he did. Jimmy just went a little bit too deep under the brakes, missed his braking marker, under pressure, went through. He kept thinking on.
Mate, he come in, look at this. He was not stopping. Look, he's just got you. He's like, yeah, Mark Fozzie, you got that lime milkshake going, I'm mixing you up. I'm going right through you and mixing you right. But the problem for Jimmy is he's lost 3 spots out of that. So, instead of just making an easy move and battling through, just go. Jimmy Middleton, the walnut, has shot through. So, Jimmy Middleton, the walnut. Where did that come from? Oh no, Jimmy the walnut is going to stick now, because I tell you what, one of the things Aussies do, mate, and you might realise, if we hear a good nickname that makes us laugh, it sticks, right? It just sticks like shit to a blanket, like absolute PVA glue, right? Jimmy the walnut is going to stay there in my mind for a long time yet, and if Ricky and Jimmy are kind enough to let me comment, they might not let me after this race. But they might not after you.
Jimmy the walnut is going to stay.
We've got
absolute gold.
We got Hughes in the pits. We got Berhoff. We've got Coleman. That's allowed Jepson to take the lead. Provençali. We've got Hughes, Magri, Hanlon, and Mellis all in the pits at the moment. Sam Chapman has gone in. Jimmy's gone round again. He must have fuel still for days. Trent Naylor's gone in. So at the moment, there's only 3 people who have not gone into the pit lane. That's Adam Jepson, Ricky Provençali, and Jimmy Middleton. You can see the run all the way down here from Jacob Hughes. He come in absolutely ages ago, and they've just got to run all the way around. They're not even in their pit boxes. It is on the endurance pits. Down the hill they go. You can see it's so painful, but I can tell you one thing, what it has done, it's released Adam Jepson out in front here as well. So Jepson doing a great job. We've got the safety car, I believe. is out on circuit.
Oh, yeah. Driving slow enough for the safety car. They're certainly driving slow enough for the safety car, so something's happened somewhere. Haven't been able to pick up what it is. Maybe you can find what I have done. Whilst you've been chatting, I'll be laughing about Jimmy the Walnut. I worked out that if Owen Coleman actually is able to get on top of Adam Berholt and come P1, then Dan Magri still only needs to come P3. That's without a drop round. Is there a drop round in this one, JP? Do you know?
5 rounds generally. There's one, isn't there? I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep researching while we keep calling it. And good time. We've got the safety car, right? You can talk all about why Jimmy is now a walnut, and justify all of those things. And in fact, macadamia nuts are a whole lot harder to crack. Maybe Jimmy was a whole lot easier, but.
If they're hard ones, you don't. He was a bit of a soft one there, wasn't he? You know what I mean?
No, well, so walnut, salted boiled peanuts. He's probably not that soft, but anyway, let's not hang too much on Jimmy. He's out there having a good go, but this whole safety car has mixed up the field by the looks of it. Is that Ricky still at the front?
Yeah, Ricky and Jepson and Jimmy. I think they would love the fact that Scotty Barton would go a little bit quicker at the moment, because they could get a free pit stop in here and retain positions, because everybody else is cruising around at obviously pace car speed, but these guys are there, and they could have really done with that pace car getting a little bit of a wriggle on, because if they'd gone around the whole circuit, they got a free pit stop and jump out in front of people, the likes of Dan Magri, who's further back, Coleman, Hanlon, Mellis. They're all trying to catch up. So for Ricky and Jepson and Middleton here, it's not worked out too well, because they haven't pitted. So because they haven't pitted, they're going to have that safety car. They'll lose less time, but they're probably going to end up at the back of the field here.
No, they're going to lose track position for sure. Because what they've done is they've actually allowed everybody else to pit, come through, and then everybody else. Oh, and what's worse, I've just got a call. Safety cars coming in this lap, which means they're losing green flag lap time. Jepson, Provenzali, and the Walnut Milton are going to lose not only track position, they are going to lose a full pit stop worth of time, because they've minimised the safety car on this round, and they're going to let it go this round. That was a really, really poor decision to not go into the pits as soon as the safety car was called out. If everybody else got in the pits, they have actually jumped all over them, and these boys are going to lose 30 to 50 seconds on this race. That is not good.
The question is did the safety car come out after they'd already passed the pit lane entrance? Because don't forget, the entrance is all the way back at the bus stop, and the safety car's only got to come out at the top of El Rouge and Radion. So if he's come out at the top of El Rouge, they would have missed the entrance.
Yeah, no, it's not about the safety car coming out. It's about when the call was made. Adam Berholt, Coleman and Magri all went in, and they were in front of these guys. So that tells to me that the call for safety car was made. Berholt, Coleman, Magri went in and actually made most of the call. The other guys might have taken a risk. They've been caught up behind the safety car, and that's going to be a big cost to them at this race. This is a massive cost. But now let's look back at championship implications. Magri is sitting behind Coleman, one position. And as I've said, if Coleman can win this in front of Berholt, Magri only needs to come P3. If Coleman comes P2, Magri still only needs to come P3. So Dan Magri just needs to run in and stay behind Coleman. I'll do some more calcs and see what happens. But I'm telling you, with Jepson, Provenzali and the Nut Middleton falling back once they have to do their pit stops, this is going to put Berholt, Coleman, Magri, P1, P2, 3P. Magri doesn't need to race him on. He's just got to sit there behind Coleman. He takes this championship away. That's the way I'm seeing it. Unless I look into the regulations and there's a drop round, I'll miss it, mate. That's the only thing I'm going to look at.
There is drop rounds, Pete, but they can't be taken after round 4. So there is a drop round, but it can't be applied after round 4. So this is a straight up fight. Berholt's got to be careful. Off the side of the circuit, we have got them up and running again. Jepson made the jump. Provenzali got the second place. Middleton lost that place to Berholt. He's now going on the defense from Owen Coleman on the left-hand side. Jimmy's moving out the way. Here comes Owen Coleman's going to go through. Hughes is going through. Jimmy's just virtually stopped on the racetrack and is going to end up all the way down in the final place in front of Mark Foster there. Unfortunately for Jimmy, I'm not too sure if he got to slow down up through El Rouge and Radion, but you can see Jepson's in front now with Provençali behind him. 30 minutes to go. One drop round, but only applicable for the first 4 rounds of the season. This is round 5, the final round, so there is no drop round that they can take. All of the scores would have had that already added, and Provençali has got Burhop closing in on him. Don't forget Jepson, Provençali and Middleton have yet to pit. They did not pit before the safety car. That could have massive implications on them there as well, and unfortunately it's looking like that one decision, that one little split second of a decision, has cost the free Jepson, Provençali at the front, and Middleton, it was further back, who we think copped a massive slowdown because he ended up all the way down in 13th, and he was 3rd at the moment. They ran over the line, so unfortunately for Middleton, they're not a great way to go. But Jepson, Provençali gonna lose a bucket load of time here, Pete, if they've got a pit while we're still green.
Oh no, they're got that's cost them the race. It's one of those things that, you know, when we have safety cars in those races, you can make a split-second decision that costs you big or gains you significant advantage. And in this case, for Ricky Provençali and Adam Jepson, I can see that the safety car calls there, mate, is going to cost them massively. You know, they won't be able to go too far. They're going to have to come to the pits at this stage. But what it does is it puts, you know, P1, effective P1 to Adam Burhelt, P2 to Coleman, P3 to Magri. It puts effective championship to Dan Magri and P2 in the championship to Adam Coleman. That's the way I'm seeing it right now with 30 minutes of racing left to go. We're halfway through this race. We've got, you know, some wonderful new nicknames including, you know, Jimmy the Walnut Middleton, you know, Ricky in the runabout, Provençali. He's, you know, finally got in there. And here we go. We've got some great racing to go, JP. How do you see it through the end, mate?
Well, to be honest with you, I think I'm excited to see where Jepson and Provençali are going to come out. They've got to go full bore. They've gone one more lap. Provençali to the right-hand side. Whoa! That was a big old defense from Ricky there, going all the way to the right and coming all the way to the left-hand side. Burhop didn't really know where to go or have anywhere to go. Coming now, Burhop on the exit into Marmody. He's going to run Provençali a little bit wide there, side by side, dropping down the hill into Ravage. It's still Provençali. Burhop still there with Coleman. Magri's all the way back up into 5th and has stopped. Do not forget that one. Is there going to be one more from these boys where they went about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, so it's possible that they will have to do one more pit stop. We will see what goes on here once we start getting the calculations all in. But Provençali still in 2nd, Jepson in 1st, Burhop there looking racy, Pete. I can't see anyone getting near Adam Burhop at the moment. He's looking so fiery in that lead place.
No, absolutely, but I see this, it's a one-stop race as far as I understand it, which means even if you missed a call for the safety car, which I think, you know, Jepson, Provençali and Middleton did, you know, now that we've got the race restarted, but it's still only a one-stop, you know, Adam Jepson and Provençali have got to now drive as long and as fast as they can. And what they need to hope for is they need to hope for the rest of the field to spread out and go backwards, because essentially once they've done their pit stop, they've got to feed into somewhere which is eventually going to be close to where their finishing position is, because they missed that safety car. You know, holding up the current leaders in the current fight, that's not going to do much for themselves. What it do is it might create some excitement for everybody else watching, because potentially Ricky Provençali, although he'd hate himself if he did it, although there he goes, feeding off into the pit lane. He wasn't going to last that long, 27 minutes to go, just after the 30-minute mark, which just proves there, one-stop race, and there we go. Ricky's jumped out, Burhop's up to P1, Coleman's into P2, Dan Magri's into P3. It looks like Jepson's jumped out in the pits as well. So this race is going to cleanse itself, and now we're out. And those guys that missed the safety car call are now going to find out how far they are behind the leaders and behind the rest of the field, and they're going to be kicking themselves all night for the rest of the night, probably even into tonight.
I'm a little bit worried though, Pete, because they do only get 45% fuel, and these guys pitted before the 30-minute mark, and obviously they might have had the safety car that might have aided them a little bit on the fuel. Are we still saying one stop on 45%? I can't see how that one's that's gonna be close for anybody, isn't it?
No. If you look at it this way, if Ricky Provenzali and the guys can go to 27 minutes on a full tank of fuel with a safety car. It means that those that fueled up can go the opposite on the safety car. So whilst it's as close as what you say it is, yeah, it is close. They're all going to be pretty shine tanks. These guys can all make it in. I have no doubt about it, right? It was close enough to the end to get in there, fill up, and save fuel on the safety car to get there. So if you can make more than 30 minutes in a 1 hour race, whilst you've got a safety car in there, then people can make more than 30 minutes at the back end of the race with the same safety car at the start of that section. So, it might be a little bit scary. They might have the sphincter valve going whilst they've got, whilst they're watching their fuel numbers as they go around. These guys aren't pitting again. I guarantee they're going to the end of the race on what they've got.
Well, Provenzali's just come out behind Jepson. These guys are 12th and 13th. They're on the run down the Camel. The leader, Adam Burhop, just on the run down Blanchimont. So a complete opposite side of the circuit. So they are going to have a race amongst themselves for the rest of this evening, I would have thought as well. 25 minutes to go. I can't really see, unless all of a sudden there is some split miracle, that Provenzali and Jepson are going to make up 1 minute and 13 seconds back to where they were when they came in. Don't forget, they were mixing it in the top 5 at that point, and now they are all the way down in 13th and 14th place. That is a massive loss, and that is all because the safety car come out just after. I still think it come out just after they went in the pit lane, and that is what has caused the problem. Mellis has got Sam Chapman in front of him, Stefan in the Porsche. We've got Hanlon in the Mercedes, and Mellis looking to close the gap as they're coming down that run down the hill. They're going to go through El Rouge, the left-hander. Then we've got Raddy on the right-hander, and then we've got the Camel straight. And we can see here up through the right. They want to stay a little bit. It's going to be closer. Any further than that on the left-hand side, you will get a slowdown. So we're on board with Stefan Mellis here, running down that Camel now, closing in on Martin Hanlon. You can see him in front of us here. He pulls out, Jinx to the right to see what's going on. Now we've got Ben Jeffrey, we've got Trent Naylor in there. He is sitting in 7th at the moment as Trent goes hard on the brakes. Oh man, Naylor went way hard on the brakes there, Pete, and just missed Sam Chapman in front of him.
Tell you what I want to see, mate. I want to see Marty Hughes. I want to see Hughesy, because he's having a real crack at Dan Magri right now. And if Hughesy can split the gap between him and Dan Magri, that changes the championship. So will that happen? Hughesy, Riot, teammate. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think he's going to sit there and poke him the whole race. If it was a different team, it would be a whole new sensation, because I tell you what, could you imagine if Hughesy was Owen Coleman's teammate? All he'd be doing is everything to poke his nose left, right and centre. But right now, Hughesy's probably just going to sit there and say, yeah, Dan, I got your back, mate. You just need to sit here on P3. I'm going to protect everybody from behind you. We'll just sit here. We'll just close the rest of the racetrack off. Might be a bit boring for us to do commentating and everybody that's racing. But, flip it on its head and say, hey, that's somebody else. You've got to poke every nose up and just take one position and it changes the championship result.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they fight. I don't think they're going to. I'm in agreement there. They are in a voice chat together, so I wouldn't be surprised if Jacob has just said to Dan, look, I'm not going to race you, mate. Let's just try and close up to the guys in front. However, the boys that are racing, Ben Jeffrey and Rob Edwards from the Bluebell Racing team, are trying to get hold of Trent Naylor. Naylor's going to cover off the inside. It's forced Rob Edwards around the outside. Chapman's just lost a place to Naylor. If he can make it stick in through the bus stop, he can he come across the other way, get the job done? He did. Naylor run around the outside, a great job from him. Sam Chapman's had to pull over. There's a slowdown on the cards for Chapman here. He's just about to lose 2 places. He's lost a place to Jeffrey, lost a place to Edwards, and lost a place to Magri. Ben Jeffrey as well. So poor old Sam Chapman there with a slowdown, Pete, and unfortunately he lost 3 places.
You get a slow down when you got 4 cars right up here. It's going to cost you, right? So, unfortunately, there for Sam Chapman, he got that slow down. But and again, it's those fine lines in racing. You cross that white line at the wrong time, and it's going to cost you make that wrong decision, like we did with the safety car. it's going to cost you. Like we've seen Adam Jepson, Ricky Provenzali tonight, massive big cost for things. That racing brain, you can drive around a track, with your mind in neutral and just drive and go, I'll try it. But these sorts of little decisions, they have big implications, and that's what racing's all about. You've got to be so switched on to keep your mind on what's going on in the race, what's going on that circular fashion where everybody is, what's happening, what's coming out, what's going to happen in the next lap if you can predict it with something like the safety car. And if you can put all of that together in a little bit of race witchcraft, then you can actually think what is the best way to come and avoid going over white lines that might cost you, 3, 5, 4 or 40 seconds as we see at Res. But to be honest, absolutely massive race. And what have we got? We've got top 2 contenders up the top with someone like Adam Burhap, which is, which is coming and joined the series, but putting a little bit of pressure and taking some points off and keeping it close for us.
Yeah, it definitely is. Jeffrey and Edwards still trying to get hold of Naylor. Naylor's doing a great job in that Aston Martin. He's just holding them up as they've come out now on the run down into Paul Ferret round the double right-hander. Oh, that's going to unfortunately cost Rob Edwards. That is not how you do that one, dear sir. And he has now just lost the places to Ben Jeffrey. The biggest thing is they were teammates. So unfortunately, they are now not running together. So unfortunately for Rob Edwards, that one mistake has cost him there. Owen Coleman is tackled, fought his way back up to the front with Adam Burhop. Greg Brooks, Naylor's in the retro tracks livery, says Greg there. So great job from all of them. Fantastic commentary, gentlemen, says Alfonso Latella there, Pete.
Oh, that's Alfonso. Just giving me a little bit of a tick because, I'm not normally here on the GT4. What I'm going to ask you though, JP, is one of the things you've always said to me is Porsches do Porsche things, but that's always in the GT3 races. What I want to know is where's the Porsche doing Porsche things in the GT4 races? Because we've got Stefan Millis, we've got Ben Jeffrey, and we've got Chapman. They're running the Porsches. They're running them pretty hard. They might not be up to speed, but they're not Porsches doing Porsche things, mate. What's going on?
Well, the GT4s seem to be a little bit more stable in that area than the GT3s do. And that's the thing. The GT4s are probably the go-to car in the GT4 if you're running, right? You want to get a Porsche, and that's what you want to do, especially if you're learning the GT4s. The Porsche seems more stable. Can't give you a reason why the difference, though, Pete. I really can't. We've just seen the Porsche, and you've witnessed the Porsche because you had to do the forfeit for it. But we do see the back end of the GT3s do go round. But the GT4 just seems a lot more stable, and therefore doesn't do the same thing. I can't answer why it doesn't. It just doesn't seem to here.
No, but for some reason, the Porsche Cayman that we have in the GT4 doesn't have the swing back effect that the 911 rear engine does. And it's a lot more balanced. It's a lot more bouncy though. It's a really, really soft suspended thing and really hard to tune in suspension. And I found that I raced it a couple of years ago on the Nürburgring 24-hour race, and we found it as really compliant over curves because it was soft and bouncy on suspension. But if you got it wrong, you were out of control in the heartbeat. Suspension was. Whereas the GT3 Porsche, the 911s like the 992, the Porsche Cup car, really, really rear end orientated. That's the difference between I think the GT4 Cayman and the 991, 992 is you don't get that swing back that you get. You don't get that pendulum effect that you get at high-end Porsches in GT3 racing, which is why you're not seeing the Porsche effect that you called me out on at Suzuka within a lap. I'll never forget you. I still owe you, I think. Oh, no, I paid that. You did it. Yeah, you did that one. I still owe another pommy for another bet.
By the sounds of it, Pete, you're not doing too well betting the old pommies there, I can tell you that much. Naylor holding on, Edwards and Chapman, and Edwards is still in front of Chapman. Naylor's still holding on that place with Jeffrey coming in behind him, funny enough, in a Porsche as they're heading down into La Source. So these guys still fighting it out here and still battling away for that 7th and 8th place. Don't forget, Naylor's up 8 places places. Stefan Mellis is up 9 places. The biggest gainer on today's racetrack is Stefan, and he is in the Porsche as well. And we've still got Coleman still chasing down this man, Adam Burhop, and it still doesn't look like Coleman can have any way to get through on that one. Greg Owen looks like he's playing the same old trick of the last minute overtake. I don't know if that's completely true, Greg. I don't know if he's got the pace to be able to do that. I think Burhop, since he got out in front, Pete, has just kind of been there, held station, kept the gap as it was around about that 4:10 mark, and is doing a stellar job. So is Coleman holding on for a last lap overtake, or has he just not got the pace to do it?
Well, Owen's been sitting there for most of the race. He seemed to let, I'll say seemed to let, whether he did it from a racing perspective or did it from a strategy perspective, I don't know. But he seemed to let Owen through quite easily, quite early, but that allows them to save fuel. But that didn't necessarily pay off. Normally when you let someone save fuel, that's because you want to have them pay off through the pit stop, and you want to have less fuel go in at the pit stop. You save a few seconds there and you come out in track position. Because of the safety car when it came out, Owen Coleman didn't necessarily get that track position over Owen Burhop. Now, the thing we've got to remember here is Owen Coleman must come first to get the championship over Dan Magri. But Dan Magri, even if Owen Coleman comes first, Dan Magri in P3 will win the championship. So Coleman can't impact the championship from where he is, whether he's in P1 or P2. Dan Magri just sitting behind him. Dan doesn't need to race. He just needs to sit there with Adam Burhop and Coleman, and he'll win this championship tonight. But if Dan Magri, and here's the real risk, what do you do if you're Dan Magri? I'm faster than Owen, I can overtake him, and we've got 15 minutes to go. I'm a whole lot faster. Do you overtake him, or do you just sit there? Because have a look at the gap behind him. It's a 7.2 second gap behind Dan Magri. So he has 7.2 second gap on the racetrack to make a few mistakes and just sit there and cruise comfortably to a championship. But that's on Pete Baxter's calculations, not on the league's calculations. So Dan, if you're listening to the podcast, there's my caveat, right? That's Pete Baxter's rough calculations, and I've had a few red wines tonight before I jumped on the commentary. So anyway, you can take that at the risk you take. But I don't think Dan needs to race Owen. Owen certainly needs to race Adam to put the pressure on Dan. But the only people who can really put the pressure on Dan are those behind him. It's Husey, it's Mellis and Halsen, and I don't think they've got it to put it on. I think Dan Magri's got this in the bag right now with 15 minutes to go. Yeah,
I kind of have to agree with you here. He's got faster than Coleman coming out of Marmody. They're coming down into Ravage, the downhill right-hander, before they start going into No Name, the left-hander, of course. And Adam Burhop still doing it with Coleman and Magri. Do you make the move if you're Magri with 14 minutes? Well, that's not going to help for Dan Magri. Poor old Owen Coleman having a little bit of a blink around. But does Owen Coleman does Dan Magri make the move this early, or does he wait for the last 2 laps if he's got it? It looks like he is quicker, and that's the thing. He does look like he's quicker, and he has been over lap 16 and lap 17. 17, he's pulled out 6 tenths over Owen Coleman. That's massive going into these last 13 minutes. Do you make it early, Pete? Do you sit and wait? Because if you wait till the final lap, it's a lottery. You might not get it done. You might have a poor run. You might get a slowdown. Do you do it early, or do you wait? What would you be doing?
No, you got to do it. If this is not about this race now tonight, this is about the championship. So there's no trophies for the race. There's trophies for the championship. So it's what am I doing and what do I need to do, to win the championship. We're in the last round. There's no drop round in the last round. Every point counts. Every point matters. We are here, and the points I'm using are including of drop rounds. And we've got to remember, Owen Coleman has 312 points drop rounds. So essentially, without drop rounds, Coleman probably would be up there in the championship. But the way the league goes, there is drop rounds involved, which puts Dan Magri in the box position right now. All he's got to do is sit there, mate. If I'm Dan, I'm cruising. If I'm Owen, I'm fighting only to get to P1, just to put the pressure on Dan and make him think and second guess it. That's all Owen can do. Otherwise, he's just got to accept second in the championship and race. If I'm Adam, I've got nothing to win or gain from the championship perspective, the only thing I can do is win the race because I'm not fighting for the championship. I'm fairly new here, but I'm going to put my stamp on this because what happens if I'm Adam Burholt? I'm coming back in season 3 and I beat you guys who are the championship. So I'm now going to bring you another contender here to this championship for the next season. There we go. That's the way I'm reading this right now. Everybody else is in the race to see where they can come.
Yeah, Jeffrey and Edwards is back in the pit lane. This is the Bluebell Racing guys. They're back in for this, I believe that's number 2 for them, as they're back in for the second time here. Adam Burholt still leading the way. Coleman and Magri still sitting in there. Jacob Hughes is in 4th place for him. He's running around. He's trying to clear the Belgium. That is Stefan Mellis. Stefan sitting there in 5th overall, up 9 places. Martin Hallinan is in 6th. Then Trent Naylor in 7th place now, with Sam Chapman in 8th and Mark Foster in 9th. We've got Ben Jeffrey coming up the pit lane exit. Adam Jepson is coming up through El Rouge and Radion, so this could be really close. I think the Bluebell boys might end up back together. They are there, and you can see Provençali has managed to make his way back into 12th. Rain Campbell is in 13th place as he comes up over the hill. We've got Rob Edwards on his way out. We've got Jimmy Middleton on his run down into Blanchimont at the moment is Jimmy. He's coming down into the bus stop, so that's going to allow Rob Edwards to get out in front of him. But the front 3 still battling away nicely. Jepson and Jeffrey are back together for the Bluebell Racing team after Jeffrey made the mistake at the beginning and unfortunately dropped himself down the order. So now what do you do when you're going into the final 10 minutes? Well, these boys are just going to race it out. Burholt, Coleman, Magri for the championship is between Magri and Coleman. Every point counts in round 5, and I can say now between Owen Coleman and Dan Magri, what I've got is 45 points difference between these two. So as we say, Dan Magri is in the prime position. It's going to take him a lot to lose his championship with 10 minutes to go.
I'm going to get a new update. I've redone the calculations. There's points in it, right? I'm talking points. You can count them on 2 hands. Owen Coleman takes Adam Burholt. So does Dan Magri to win the championship. Owen Coleman overtakes Adam Burholt. And if Magri stays in P3, Owen Coleman wins the championship. That difference is 10 points over 1,500. So I'm calculating right now, if Owen Coleman can get Adam Burholt and Burholt comes second, that puts Coleman on 1420, and right now, if Magri stays in P3, that puts him in 1410 points, right? And that all changes if Magri is able to take Burholt as well. So if we get Adam Burholt in the middle of these 2 drivers, that changes the championship. Now we've got something to look out for.
Well, unless I can't, do you know what? I can't see where that can happen. We've got 8.5, just gone under 9 minutes to go, and Coleman has not looked once that he's had the pace to clear Burholt in that BMW. So I'm wondering whether or not, as we said earlier on, a little bit earlier when we were talking about it, whether or not he even has got the pace to get involved with that. You know, Magri got that slow down earlier on, dropped him all the way down, I think, near 9th or 10th place. He's worked his way up after the pit stops to get into this 3rd spot where he is at the moment. We know he doesn't really need to make the move over Coleman, and I think that's the thing. But I just don't know if Coleman's got the pace to go with Burholt. Magri's in the pits. Final 8 minutes. I did say it if they were going to make it, Pete, and clearly Dan Magri is not going to make it. But if he's going to go in, so is everybody else. Stefan Mellis has got in behind him. Coleman and Burholt's now going to have to go in because they're not going to clearly make it. They pitted on the same lap as Dan Magri. So it's now turning into that 2-stop race, and both of them have got a pit with 7 minutes to go.
Okay, now that has just blown me away. That was the last thing I expected. I fully expected these cars to be able to make it to the end because, to be honest, 3 cars got through over 30 minutes of this race. Wow, that has just mixed it up. Now we got some. I'm going to have to redo some more calculations with 3 minutes to go. This is going to blow this thing wide apart. There's only 45 points that separate Owen Coleman and Dan Magri. If Coleman needs to come through the pits and we're looking at them in lower positions than the guys that actually pitted under the safety car, then my God, we are in for some sort of surprise now in the last 5 minutes. What the hell just happened, JP?
Well, the question will be, where will the people that pitted on lap 12, which involves Adam Jepson, Ricky Provenzali and Jimmy Middleton. Jimmy's a little bit further back. Adam's there as well. Coleman's... Where is Dan Magri? Dan's on his way out, so Jepson can't clear Dan Magri because he's on his way up the hill, and for Jepson he's still there, so maybe it's not going to make that big of a difference here. 1 minute 21, pit lane time 1:29, maybe 1:30. It's going to be saying that for Dan Magri. His pit lane time last time out was 1:15, so it's going to be interesting to see where Provenzali and Jeffrey end up. Naylor's into the pits. He's down in 13th now, unfortunately, but these boys who pitted 3 laps later with 3 laps to go could find themselves moving up quite handily here if everybody else has got to go in the pits. It looks like Foz has just copped himself a slowdown. He's just lost them 2 places as well. But Stefan Mellis is out. Adam Jepson's out. These guys are the guys that pitted. Mellis and Magri are the guys that pitted on lap 20. We're on lap 21. We do expect Burhoff and Coleman. They're going in. There goes Burhoff. There goes Coleman. Where is Magri? He's on his run down into the right-hander of Fanier, so he's got a lot to do, but these guys have got that very slow run into their pit box here, so it could be really, really close whether or not Dan Magri can get anywhere near Burhoff. He hasn't even reached the pit box yet. He's still going down the first half of the pit lane. Magri's on his way round down through Blanchimont, Pete. This could be a close exit.
Oh, mate, it's going to be a massive close exit, and to be honest, you and I have both missed the fuel burn numbers for tonight. I have to tell you, that's probably a part of Ricky Provenzali calling me halfway through a drinking session to come and commentate tonight. Most of my prep I would do for a race I wouldn't normally get. I did not expect this tonight. I fully expected those cars that stopped under the safety car to go through, and those cars just after to be able to make it to the end of the race. That is unbelievable. I did not expect these cars to pit with such a late part of the race. The biggest benefit they've got is they've only got really small fuel drop to put in, but to be honest, that brings a whole lot of cars back into the race that we didn't predict. Oh, hell, JP, slap me around and remind me that prior preparation, prevents piss poor performance.
I think the thing is, it was always going to be close, and it is close. Magri has got the run. He's coming down the hill. Burhoff's at the top. There is Burhoff. There is Coleman. There is Magri on the right-hand side. He's come out. He's still out behind him. However, he's got a massive amount of overspeed on Coleman. He's got the left hand. He's got the right-hand side. Coleman's job is done. Burhoff got out in front, but Magri has got that 3rd place away from Owen Coleman. Coleman in 4th at the moment. We've still got Sam Chapman out in front. Chapman pitted on lap 9. He's going to have to go in here, and unfortunately for him, he will end up going in. But currently at the moment, Magri did jump Coleman. He didn't get Burhoff, but we did say, Pete, with 45% fuel and being able to go, they pitted really quite early in conjunction. There was always looking like there was going to be one more stop to do, and Magri and Coleman, well, right near the end, 3 minutes to go, and now it's all about these two and whether or not they're going to fight and which way round they're going to be.
Now the question is, did Dan Magri really short his fuel to be able to make that undercut happen, or did he come out and he blistered the outlap time on fresh tyres to get that little bit of run? But certainly the run through Eau Rouge with the speed that he had all the way down the Kemmel Straight, whilst Coleman was coming out of the pit straights and trying to get up the speed, that made a big difference in itself. But it's also Dan Magri's in front of Owen Coleman right now, and so right now we can say that Magri in front of Coleman, that means the championship's going Magri's way. What a surprise that brought us in the last 5 minutes. Completely unexpected. It's put Sam Chapman out in front. I don't know if Sam Chapman can go the whole way round. We've only got a couple of more laps left in this race, but I don't know if he can make it all the way around. But, Burhop's been out there. He's been able to manage the front, and he's saying, yeah, thank you, boys. I'm in the championship here for next time. I'm going to give you I'm a real contender. I'm going to give you a run for your money. But Dan Magri's come out and had a play with Owen Coleman, and we have a race to the finish. One swap for Coleman, I don't think will necessarily make a difference for Coleman to make a difference in the championship. He's got to get in front of Dan Burhop, and Chapman has to make another pit stop. So I think we're looking at Dan Magri as the championship. Here we go, as from here.
Well, I can tell you now, Burhop's not going to make that another pit stop because this will be the final lap of the race. It should be the white flag, and you catch Barney on the left. He is waving. It's one more lap to go to the end of this season. Coleman is in front. Magri is in third. Coleman in fourth. It's the final run up through the Camel Straight now as well. The two championship protagonists. Magri hugs the right-hand side tighter than his favourite grandma now, I can tell you that much. Coleman's going to tuck him behind. He's got one more go. You can see Burhop looking to make the move over Chapman at the front. He does get that job done. Magri holds on to the inside, coming into Lacombe. Is he going to allow Coleman to get up there? He's not. Now he holds on, coming out the exit of Marmody once more, dropping down into reverse for the final time. Magri holds on to this one, but it is one final push. It's one final run for Coleman. He has to try and clear Dan Magri to even get remotely close, and Magri at the moment sitting in third with Chapman 2 seconds up the road. So Sam Chapman pulled a bit of a masterstroke. He's going to round off this race if he stays where he is in second place, but it's all about these boys here, Pete. He's got half a lap to go. Can Coleman even remotely get past Magri?
Well, he does. It still doesn't change. It's just in the championship. And I'm not sure if Owen Coleman knows that, but I know one thing about Owen Coleman. He wants to win. And it doesn't matter whether he's going to take championship or not. He will still keep the pressure on Dan Magri, because at the end of the day, something really shocking could happen. I wouldn't like it to end that way. We've got to really love the championships end on super driving. And Dan Magri pulled a master stroke with his pit stop one lap earlier than the other two. And that has just put him into championship winning contention. Adam Burhop has said, yeah, come get me. Sam Chapman, oh God, I expected him to do another pit stop. Sam Chapman has come from absolute nowhere to take what will be effectively a second place. You can't pit on the last lap of a race and be a fair pit stop. Sam Chapman here is looking like a really good podium position for a race. He has come from nowhere.
He's going through around the outside. Oh, he's overcooked it. Owen Coleman. Oh, slow down. Job done. Burhop takes the win.
Massive spoof to see. That's Coleman run out of fuel. He hasn't even kept driving.
He finished. Yeah, he did finish, but Adam Burhop won the race. Sam Chapman up 10 places, finishes in that second place mark. Dan Magri is your champion. He has wrapped it up. Dan Magri does win this season. A stellar job for him. Owen Coleman finishes in second. He has got the fuel to at least get down the end there. Provençali, Hughes, Stefan Mellis finishes in 6th place. Great job with Martin Hallen and Alan Jepson and Ricky Provençali. Everybody else comes over the line. Foz is going to be down in 12th in that lime green Porsche machine. He's going to come over the line as well, just about, mind you. He might need a little bit of a push, but he did manage to get there, did Foz, after his one-stop strategy. Trent Naylor comes over in 13th, and then we're going to have Edwards in 14th. I can tell you one man that didn't make it, though, unfortunately, is Jimmy Middleton. He sat in the pits, and he finishes down in 15th place. But Adam Burhop, your champion, your winner of this race. Dan Magri, your champion. So great job from these guys. Let's have a look at the results for the final round of the season. Adam Burhop is your winner. Sam Chapman up 10 places. One stopped the race in second, with Dan Magri in third and Owen Coleman in fourth. Dan, of course, wrapping up the championship. Jacob Hughes in fifth, and Stefan Mellis in sixth. Martin Hallinan in seventh. Adam Jepson in eighth. Provençali ended up back in ninth after his pit stop that just cost him after the safety car. And then we got Ben Jeffrey, Rain Campbell, Mark Foster, Trent Naylor, Rob Edwards, and Jimmy Middleton behind that. No, Leaf McClimate jumped straight into the pits at the beginning. Not too sure what these Riot boys are up to as they're pushing each other down the race circuit here, Pete. But overall, some great racing there, an epic end to the season, and round 5 at Spa's all done.
Absolutely, round 5 is fun. Championship's done. I've learned a couple of things tonight, like Dan Magri, Owen Coleman. We knew that both of those guys are out the front and will fight hard. Yeah, because they're names that come up in the GT3 Championship. Adam Burhop, new to GT4, hasn't got a lot of points on the board for the championship, so he'll bring a competition to Dan and Owen Coleman next season. Sam Chapman, an absolute brilliant result. That came from nowhere. Ricky Provenzali, mate, you must start on the grid with a fair qualifying position and race at your pace. Race in this series and race on your pace. Stop this rear grid stuff. And lastly, what we learned is Jimmy the Nut Middleton, the softest nuts of all. I don't know whether walnuts is the right thing. I think we can find a softer one.
Sorry, Jim. That's all I'm going to say. Now, to be fair, we have got Sam Chapman in the booth, the man who was up 10 places here. Let's have a quick chat with Sam. Sam, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. It all turned out in the end. Pretty happy.
Master stroked it, son. Master stroked it.
Yeah, it was a long shot. It was an even longer shot actually. At one point, most of it I thought there was going to be an extra lap, and then towards the end, it came to me just as everyone was coming out of the pits. It sort of all reset and went, no, it won't be an extra lap. So I sort of had the ability to fight the battles at the end, whereas the rest of it I was sort of saving quite a lot.
Yeah, did you say from the very beginning though, Sam? Was you on it from the moment you went green?
No. I started relatively aggressively, and then I had that spin early on as well, but it could have came back to me with the safety car. I think I was sitting last at that point pretty much. And so decided pit and see if I could find a way to save to the end from there. And it was really borderline if there was an extra lap, but once it pulled back, I was able to do it. But yeah, no, like I was probably losing a good. Wow, I was losing almost probably a bit over a second towards the end of Camel Straight, just lifting off, pretty much, like a third of the way down it.
Yeah, well, you did an absolutely stellar job there, bud, holding on to that second place. Did you think you could hold on to Adam towards the end? Did you think you were going to get the win?
I did. I thought I could. I didn't. I thought he's too far back to make it up the inside, but he was just able to hold on to it. So, and then once we were side by side, I was on the outside going through that section and just got a bit crossed up. So, tried to fight it back, but couldn't. I think the pace came to me as the night went on, particularly as I was sort of in that rhythm of fuel saving and understanding it, because I only jumped in sort of about 20 minutes before, or pretty much as quali started was sort of my pracky laps. So I didn't really expect too much pace out there, hence, going for a bit of a different strategy.
Yeah, well, you did an
I've got one question for you, Sam. No, hey, JP, shut up. I've got one question for you, Sam. It's kind of a dig at JP. Can you tell us how nice it is to drive the Porsche in Spa? It is nice to drive the Porsche around Spa. I will say it did bite me at one point with its rear kicking out and spinning around on me. But other than that, the Porsche is very nice around Spa. And Porsches in general have been nice to be around Spa, because they've got a cup win in these around Spa a few weeks ago as well. So maybe it's a thing for me. No, you got to do me one favour, mate. If you're going to race this GT4 championship again, race the Porsche and put it on the winning position, okay? And that way I can shut JP up, because he has done nothing but hang it over me since he called it, and with one lap of Porsche spun. So hang in there, drive it hard, and drive it fast, mate.
Okay, I'll have to come back and try and win it then in the Porsche. The Porsche is my go-to GT4 car, despite it struggles down the Kemmel Straight. I'll tell you what, you can't really overtake at the end of it, but through the twisties, once you get the hang of it, it's a tricky little thing, but it's a really good little car. So, yeah, all right, we'll have to bring it back then. There's the rules.
All right, Sam. Well, cheers, buddy, for joining us there, mate. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
In particular, thanks guys for putting it on for a good season. I've only sort of made a few rounds of it, but it's always fun to race with these guys and to watch back afterwards.
Awesome stuff. Well, cheers, buddy, for that one, and we look forward to seeing you next season for season 3.
Cheers.
The problem with that, JP, is Sam Chapman's going to watch that back and realise that we didn't pick him up until the last 3 laps of the race.
Yeah,
this would be the first time. This was like my Monza win when I was never seen until the final laps, and that was a fuel save as well. So I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked.
He sneaked up like a little ninja, did Sam Chapman, throughout all of that one, didn't he? Let's be real about it, right? Sam,
if everyone knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be able to get away with it.
Well,
so,
yeah, this is true.
Sneaky, I guess.
Right, well,
Sam, the Ninja Chapman, thank you, mate. Well done. An awesome race. We'll see you next season.
Yeah, good job there, Sam. Well done, buddy, on that one. Right, let's have a chat with a man here who did take the overall. There's a reason I want to do this first. Let's have a chat with Mr. Adam Burhop. Adam, taking the victory here tonight in tonight's race there, buddy. Well done. Was you ever in doubt that you were going to take it overall?
I look, win at Spa is never guaranteed, especially when you've got 2 of the quickest guys in the series behind you. We were definitely playing games in that last stint, just trying to save fuel. I think I set the fastest lap, and then the subsequent laps after that was the second and a half slower. So just trying to make it to the end. And then when Daniel bit the bullet and pitted, it was hell for leather and go and try and stay out in front. So those Mercs are definitely quick in that second sector, right through the center of the track, and the BMW stronger in other areas. So trying to break the draft, it was hard, but ended up playing silly buggers at the end a little bit.
Yeah, did you think you were going to get Sam, though? That was the question. Sam said he thought you were a little bit too far back. What did you think going down on that last run?
I was watching the clock, so I was trying to... I just put enough fuel in and thought, I should get it. And then I didn't really think it was going to be too hard to get him, especially with the Porsche's deficit down the back straight. And then the BMW is really, really strong into the bus stop chicane. So worst comes to worst, there was going to be a move going on there. So I just had to bide the time and make sure the gap was the perfect distance to go down the back straight.
Well, there you go. You did do it as well. What's the chances of seeing Adam next season in season 3?
That's 100% guaranteed. I've did a bit of a guest appearance. GT4 has not been my strong point, but after tonight's result, I think I'll be a regular.
No, well, there you go.
I hope so, Adam, mate. I've been watching the likes of Stewie Shaw in GT3. One of the things Premier Endurance Racing League needs is they need some people to come in and give Dan Magri and Owen Coleman, the 2 guys that have been up top for quite a long time, a bit of a shake-up. So come on in, mate, and I'll be excited to either call or watch you through the broadcast over next season and give them hell for leather.
Cheers very much, guys. Yeah, no, the whole Tractics team, very supportive. We coach each other through our strong points. And it's a great team to be a part with. Pal have put on a great season, this and a great series overall, both GT3 and GT4. So looking forward to growing fields and hitting season 3.
Okay, mate. Well, there we go. I would ask you, is there anyone to shout out? I know you just kind of did it, but is there anyone particular you want to give a shout out to?
No, basically the whole team at Tractics, they're so supportive, especially with coaching and getting professionals in. I'm definitely an enthusiast for getting professionals in to help coach us and get that little bit better. So, shout out to them, and it might look a little bit different next season. So, hopefully there'll be similar cars on the grid, but it might look a little bit different next season.
Well, we'll have to see on that one there, buddy. But Adam, thank you so much for joining us. Right, I want to go to Mr. Owen Coleman, the man who had his chance of winning the championship here this evening, did not quite do it. By our calculations, we have got Mr. Magri as the champion, but let's give him a chat to anyway. Owen, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Oh, yeah, about as good as I can be. Bit frustrated, but it's all right.
Well,
don't be deflated, man. You put on a massive race. It was really good. And, he had it all against you with Dan having a few points after drop rounds. But, really, really good racing. You put it on for us and put on a great show. And, at the end of the day, this is all about entertainment rather than about individuals. So, you can't be frustrated about that, right?
Yeah, I had about 1.5 laps extra fuel that I didn't need.
Oh, didn't we, JP? We talked about little details, right? Crossing the line, a little bit of extra fuel, those sorts of things, a slow down, cost others through the race. And obviously, Owen's saying here, he did something he didn't want to do.
Yeah. There was probably a few points there where I probably could have barged it up the inside, but I probably would have just taken either Magri or myself out.
So the question I got for you, Owen, is we were sort of calling it the whole way through and saying you're reasonably comfortable in P2 until about 30 minutes through or 15 minutes to go. And I did a recalculate. Oh, hang on now, he kind of needs to get in front. What were your thoughts through the race? Were you just trying to win this race and getting the best points you could, or were you racing for a championship?
Well, for the most part, I was just following Adam, just keeping the fuel usage down, and I seen Magri. I think he might have had to slow down, so I was just like, all right, something might be on here, and then the safety car come out and sort of wrecked that. So, oh well.
No, certainly the safety car certainly did change it, because we saw some guys that didn't pit during the safety car. They didn't necessarily jump right up to the top, but they fell back in the field at a certain stage. But as you guys all went through the pits at the end of the race, the race come back to them. That's one of the things you sort of got to do and think about through the races. But yeah, when you got a championship on the line and you're sitting there so close to P1 and P3, the question is, do you sit there and take it and accept that's all you got, or are you full on? We kind of saw that at the end of the race with Dan in front of you. You had a real big dive at the bus stop. Right at the end, and overdid a little bit and just slotted in and accepted fate for what it was. But it was really good to see you racing out there.
It is. Let's just hopefully can keep on improving in the GT3. Unfortunately, I haven't really had the best of results in the GT4. I haven't really been on the podium since the first 2 races. So.
Okay, JP, I'm now off Owen Coleman. He's just said that coming P2 is not the best of results in GT4 and P2 in the championship. So, how do we deal with drivers like that, JP?
He's just got high standards, mate. He knows his ability. He ain't silly. I mean, listen, are we going to see you back next season? That's the question we want to find out.
Oh, of course.
Awesome stuff. And next question, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Obviously, all you guys in the commentary, Gaming Gear Direct, Print Racer, Motorsport Hauler, Sud Speed, Powered Electrical, Deluxe E-Bikes, Next Gen Physio, Grundig Flooring, Lectra Electrical Solutions, Gecko IT Solutions, Real Estate Agents Group, and Fred Peanut Kids Boutique.
Awesome stuff. Well, in fact,
just pretty much.
Oh, sorry.
And, special shout out to Jimmy and Rick for just putting this all together. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it definitely has been a great season. And look, I know it's not where you wanted to be, but congratulations on your second place in the championship anyway.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries, man. Take care, buddy. All right. Next up, we will have a chat with the man who has had a roller coaster of a race, gave himself a slowdown, ended up dropping all the way back down into 10th place. Pit stops came around. He moved himself up into 3rd. Second pit stop came around. Could he get any higher up? Nope, because we had the ninja that was Sam Chapman taking that second place away, but he did finish where he needed to in 3rd place and wrap up the championship. Your Season 2 championship winner, Mr. Dan Magri from Riot Sim Racing, is in the booth with me. Dan, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Okay, let's just talk about tonight first, and then we'll talk about the season. Very up and down race for you. Slow down, 10th, pit stop, 4th, then another one, brought you back into 3rd. It's been quite an evening.
Yeah, I'm thrilled now that it's all said and done, but I can't say I probably enjoyed that. Obviously, with the championship on the line, it was a bit of pressure, and I've probably got the bit to me at the start. Obviously, the slowdown. Like, I was so close to not serving the slowdown and getting the drive through as well. So, yeah, just the time kept on increasing. Yeah, it was crazy. And then the safety car threw a curveball, which did go in my favour. It kind of put me back in the 3rd and eliminated the effects of the slowdown. And yeah, then just that real battle towards the end, and yeah, given the idea of pinning the lap early, given that I probably had a little more pace and handle, at least to what they were doing in front. Yeah, it's all good in the end. Obviously, from a championship point of view.
Yep. Oh, you done, Dan?
There's too much to think about at the moment.
It's still
I
going
guess another one. Yeah, like another one too. Like I was expecting a completely green race the entire series. There hasn't been a single safety car until today, and so I've done all my fuel calcs. I got a table sitting underneath my monitor for all the fuel calcs, and then safety car goes and throws it all out the window.
Hey, JP, I can still hear the racing going on in Dan's brain and his voice right now. Hey, Dan, I've got a question for you. Right, most of this race, while Owen was in P2 and you were in P3, you had the championship covered. But if Owen got P1, you didn't by 10 points. Did you know that?
Yeah, I checked the permutations before the race.
Yeah, all right.
I knew if he got first, I needed to be second, and if he was in second, I think I could have got away in fourth. But yeah, it changed a bit.
Yeah, my calculation said fourth you were not safe. You still had to come third. But we were sort of watching it when he was really up close behind Adam Burholt, and I thought, okay, does Dan really? Does Dan know if Owen gets a spot, he has to get a spot as well? That was the bit that was on my mind. And is that what you're racing for?
Yeah, I was racing for the championship, not for the individual event. But there was not much I could have done. I was pretty much a spectator for that last section there. I was somewhat confident on the fact that BMW was bloody quick in a straight line. Like I thought my car was pretty slippery, but that was something else. And I know historically the Beamers have been pretty good on fuel, and I was hoping that he'd need to put less fuel in than us two Mercs. So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, I think it did by luck and by virtue. And obviously Owen had a big dip at you at the bus stop. You must have seen that coming.
Well, I wasn't going to let him have it, but I knew that if he finished third and I finished fourth, I was safe. But yeah, I wasn't going to be stupid about it. I'd defend a little bit, but if he was going to be too aggressive, I'd let it go. And he went deep and got this place back.
Yeah, easy, mate. Deserving champion, and over the whole series, it was obviously a really good and a really close fight with Owen. Drop rounds have obviously sort of come to your favour, given that Owen dropped as many points as he did, 312, and you missed a round and didn't drop, so that's sort of fallen in your favour. A really big thing, let's talk about the championship as a whole. When you missed a race, did you think you were still going to have a crack at it?
I knew it was going to be tough. Basically, you can't afford any other errors other than that, and every other race had to be spot on. And this definitely feels like a championship based on consistency rather than pure pace. Every race, I wouldn't spend the quicker car out of the two of us, I feel anyway. Even the race that I won, it was just strategy and consistency that's got me to where I am.
Awesome. And my last question, we've seen someone, we've seen Adam come and join us for this race tonight, who's already indicated he's going to join the season for the next season. Are you excited by the additional challenge of have someone as fast as Adam coming in and joining you?
Yeah, competition is always nice. And it wasn't just Owen this year. There was a few others. I can't think of the top of my head now. Adam Jepson pops out for one. Andrew Dutchy. So yeah, it's always fun when you got a few guys to compete against, and it has been. It's like normally been a pack of 5 or 6 at the front, all got similar pace. It's just happened to be that probably Owen and myself been the most consistent out of two across the championship. Hence, we'll find the ones at the end. But yeah, more the merrier.
Awesome. One of the things I do say about the Premier Endurance Racing League is that you can't win this if you're not prepared to put in the time, learn the tracks, and do a setup. It's not the easiest series to run, because most of the tracks and car combinations are not necessarily ones that have always been done by iRacing. So to be up the front of that just proves the effort that you put in. And I bow down to you guys, everybody who's come in the top sort of 5 of the championship. That just proves the effort that you guys put in, to the league, and supporting the likes of Gamer Gear Direct and that help out the league. So thanks for that effort. It's been a privilege to call, and congratulations on the championship, mate. We'll see you next season.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you go, Dan. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go there, buddy?
Yeah, it's the season, so I'll make sure I won't miss anyone. Just a quick little shout out to Owen. It was a great championship across all rounds. We had most races we went wheel to wheel. It was hard, fair racing. So yeah, it'll be a good battle next year, hopefully. Everyone involved to putting together the league. So you guys, the broadcast team, Dutchy and Jimmy, and admin, race control, safety car. I hope I haven't missed anyone there. Shout out to the Right Sim boys, in particular Packets and Dean Reddit, coming in tonight to support me. Team sponsors, Blitz Homes, Cardiff X, and Print Racer. The boys at SSBBD, and anyone else watching at home.
Awesome stuff. Well, Dan, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy, and look forward to seeing you on track next season. But once again, congratulations. You are the Season 2 champion. Great job from you, bud.
Thank you.
Right, well, there you go, Pete. It's been a roller coaster season. We have come to the end of season 2. That is it, round 5 at Spa is the end of the season. RRTV in the YouTube chat. Welcome in. Thanks so much for joining us late on there as well. Pete, it's been an epic season. We've come to the end of it, and now we sit back, relax, and look forward to next season.
How good is it? Game of Gear Direct, Print Racer. The guys that bring us this series, you got to say thanks. And the work that Ricky Problems, Ali, and Jimmy do in the background to bring this to everybody, to give us a chance to race in, GT4 and GT3 premium endurance racing. The ability to race on a Sunday night, endurance racing in GT classes is something we don't necessarily get on iRacing and leagues in general. So, thanks to the guys. That's absolutely awesome. It's great to be a part of, and it's good to be here with you, JP, mate, and enjoyed the call. I hate losing bets, I really do, particularly to Pommies, and you and I will bet on the cricket one day, and I'm sure I'll lose. I'll win far more than I'll lose when it doesn't come to Porsches. But congratulations to Dan Magri and Owen Coleman. They put an absolute show for the championship tonight. Well done to all the drivers involved, and it's great to be a part of. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, that next week we are back for the final round of the GT3s. That's another closed championship as well. So make sure you join us for that one. Owen Coleman's leading this one over Adam Jepson with Ben Jeffrey. So really, Jepson can, but he's got a big mission on his hand. Can Owen Coleman win the GT3s as he wasn't able to do it in the GT4s? But that's going to wrap it up for the final time for this season in the Premier Endurance GT4s. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells. Doesn't matter which channel you are on, whether or not you're on the JPB or the Premier Endurance channel. But for now, guys, I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Pete Baxter here this evening. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.